It's halftime.
In this year's 2-minute, $8 million Super Bowl ad with Clint Eastwood extolling the resiliency of America and its automobile industry caused a major stir and briefly became part of the presidential campaign.
Republicans said that this was a campaign commercial for President Obama, a payback. Did you anticipate that criticism?
Just to rectify the record here, I paid back the loans at 19.7% interest. I don't think that I committed to do a commercial on top of that. I thought that the Republicans' reactions to this was unnecessary and out of place.
That's very restrained for you.
It is, I'm on camera.
Sergio Marchionne there speaking with Steve Kroft on 60 Minutes earlier this year. That interview aired in March. General Motors, meantime, is number 5 on the new Fortune 500 list after posting record profits. The company has also been a political football in the presidential campaign because of its $50 billion government bailout.
On Sunday, GM Chairman and CEO Dan Akerson told Columbia Business School graduates that our nation's political system is broken. Dan Akerson is here in Studio 57. Welcome.
Good morning.
I want to talk about the political system in a moment, but would GM have survived without the government bailout?
I don't believe so, for one simple fact. There was no risk capital at the depths of the Great Recession that would have been put into what was viewed as a pretty risky investment at the time.
So what do you think of Governor Romney's position that the bailout was wrong?
Well, you know, there was a wise man named Ronald Reagan who once said that there's no limit to what a man can accomplish if he's willing to share the credit, or some words to that effect. And when you step back and look at the bailout, there were 2 separate presidents, President Bush and President Obama, 2 Treasury secretaries, 2 administrations that saw the wisdom of how important this industry was to America and its economy. We comprise, between the automotive industry, comprises about 3 to 3.5% of the total GDP of this country. So to have essentially ceded the basic infrastructure, manufacturing infrastructure of this country and this industry, I think would have been a very short-sighted decision.
So when will you be able to pay back?
Well, you know, we've paid back all of our loans. We've paid back our preferred, and we've essentially taken the company public, and the government owns about 27%. They're one of 50-odd thousand shareholders, and when they decide—
That's not something the government wants to do long term.
No, I don't think it is. But when they sell, just like any shareholder, it will be at their discretion, not the company's.
And General Motors today is a healthy company?
I think it was properly described. We had a very good year. We're a growth company again. We had $135 billion in sales in 2010, and we had $150+ billion in 2011. That's up $15 billion in 1 year, and we had profits that exceeded any year in General Motors history, in the 103-year history of General Motors. So, pretty good year.
Charlie brought up Governor Romney earlier and some of the comments that he's made recently, specifically about, you sort of alluded to this, taking some credit. We have some sound we will listen to from Governor Romney.
Mm-hmm. I pushed the idea of a managed bankruptcy, and finally when that was done and help was given, the companies got back on their feet. So I'll take a lot of credit for the fact that this industry's come back.
You touched on this a little bit. How do you feel about those comments from Governor Romney? Is he accurate in saying that he can take a little bit of credit?
Well, like I say, failure has no father, success has many. I think the really salient point is whenever there's a restructuring or a bankruptcy, there are multiple paths to a successful end. And this was a difficult decision that was made, again, by 2 separate administrations, 2 radically different points of view from a political perspective, and it worked. And jobs were saved. People could send their children to college. Unemployment was reduced. This is all good for America. And I don't really have the luxury of opining on such matters. The only thing that matters to me, and I would describe myself as a Colin Powell Republican, and I think there needs to be more moderates in the national dialogue. What's important that the company was saved. And it is
jobs were saved.
Jobs, our trade position, our manufacturing infrastructure was saved. This is all good, and I don't know if it's all that helpful to debate who should get the credit. I'm glad someone wants
but the problem
credit.
is we're facing a political race in which people are looking at judgment and what you might have done in order to make a decision about the next president. You know, and looking at what decisions have been made and what decisions might be made, you know, is a regular and appropriate interest in when you're electing a president of the United States. And you can look at what one did and what one said he would have done, and that's important. Yes?
Charlie, I'm a businessman, and you and I have known each other for a long time. Kind of my view of the world is I'm here to be part of the GM team, and I was dealt a hand, a good hand, and we're trying to do the best we can for the taxpayers of America.
Speaking of America and its competitiveness, you spoke at Columbia and you talked about the dysfunction in Washington.
Yes.
What did you mean and what can be done?
Well, think about it. Every day you hear, I hear about the debt crisis in Europe. To give you an idea, the debt to GDP for the Eurozone is 4% this year. It'll be roughly 8% in America. Last summer, there were people that were willing to trip and have America default. To me, we've 236 years of history in this country. We've had a civil war, we've had world wars, we've had depressions, we've had the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and never did we come close to defaulting on our debt. We're not a banana republic, we're the United States of America. And I just think that our political leadership, both sides, has to find common ground to solve the issues that confront this nation. And right now, there just seems to be too much discussion and not enough action. And if it were a business, we would be provided that luxury. And I think as a nation, our day of reckoning is coming if we don't recognize that we have a systemic problem that needs to be addressed and quickly.
That too ought to be part of the political debate.
Dan Akerson, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.